We can also use quadratic regressions to work with real-life data that could best be modeled by a parabola. So in this case, let's take a look at a pumpkin chunkin festival where we're launching pumpkins through the air. So we have a graph that shows different angles we've used to launch the pumpkins and then the distance that pumpkin has traveled. So using that information, let's write a quadratic model and then use that model to figure out what's the best angle that we could shoot this pumpkin at. So like we did when we wrote the equation using 3 points, we're going to go to stat to get our data typed in. So go to stat and edit on your calculator. I've gone ahead and already typed my data in to L1 and L2. So if you want to pause the video and go ahead and get your data typed in, then go ahead and do that. Once your data is typed in, let's go ahead and actually find the quadratic model. So let's go to stat and then calculate. And like we did in the other video where we were writing a quadratic model, let's select option 5, the quadratic regression. So that'll be the parabola that best fits this data. So select, oops, I've gone too far. Select quadrag, option 5, and then press enter a couple times to get down to calculate if you have this screen pop up. And we'll see some really nasty decimals, but there's going to be our quadratic model. Notice it's given to us in standard form, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and those are our a, b, and our c values. I went ahead and rounded to 2 decimal places, so I'd encourage you to do the same thing. The r value, remember, is the correlation coefficient. The closer to 1 that is, or -1, the closer our data is to a perfect fit. So an r value of 0.999 is really good. This quadratic model is going to really closely match up to our data. So let's go ahead and actually graph this now to figure out how to maximize our horizontal distance, like what's the best angle to use. So go into y equals, and I've again gone ahead and already typed my equation in, so if you need to pause it, go ahead and get your equation typed in. And before I hit graph, I need to adjust my window, because if I use the normal 10 by 10 window, I'm not going to see much. So let's adjust our window to something that's meaningful to this problem. So our x value, our domain, is the angle. So the minimum angle that it makes sense to use is 0. If we choose to not shoot the pumpkin in there at all, that'd be silly. The biggest angle I could use would be 90. Anything above 90 would just be an acute angle facing the other direction. So let's go 0 to 90, but once again, if you shoot that pumpkin at 90, I would shoot it and then run, because it's going to come right down in your head unless there's a wind. So there's our x. Let's set up our y, our range. So y is our range, so minimum distance could be 0. For the maximum distance, I don't really know, but looking at my chart, I can see that the highest I have is 509, so I would go a little bit higher than that since we're trying to maximize this. So maybe go 550 or 600. And what we want to be able to see is we want to be able to see the vertex of our parabola, because we want to maximize the distance. The vertex represents a maximum value. So if I graph, as long as I see the vertex, I should be good to go. If not, I'll adjust my window. It looks like, yep, I just make it. So I can see that there's my vertex. Let's go ahead and find that vertex so I can maximize my distance. So if you don't remember how to do that, it's under the calculate menu, so hit second trace and select option 4, which is maximize or maximum. So select option 4. They're going to ask you those 3 questions, left bound, right bound, and guess. So move your cursor so you're somewhere to the left of the vertex, doesn't really matter where. Press enter. Move it to the right of the vertex, just move it enough so that you know you're past it so you don't miss it. And for guess, the 3rd question, just press enter. And it's telling us our maximum x value, which is our maximum angle, is about 43.44 degrees. So that's the angle that according to my data, would be the best angle to shoot the pumpkin at. And even though they don't ask me it, I know that the maximum distance, according to my model, that the pumpkin's going to go is about 514 feet if I round that off. So there's the maximum angle I should use. That's the maximum distance I should come up with.